Audio Renaissance presents The Religion by Tim Willocks. Read for you by Simon Vance. Prologue. The Devshirme. The Fagarash Mountains, East Hungarian Marches, Spring 1540 A.D. On the night the Scarlet Horseman took him away, from all he knew and all he might have known, the moon waxed full in Scorpio, sign of his birth, and as if by the hand of God its incandescence split the Alpine valleys sheer into that which was dark and that which was light, and the light lit the path of devils to his door. If the dogs of war hadn't lost their way, the boy would never have been found, and peace and love and labour might have blessed him all his days. But such is the nature of fate in a time of chaos. And when is time not chaos? And when is war not a spawn-hole of fiends? And who dries the tears of the nameless when even saints and martyrs lie sleeping in their crypts? A king had died, and his throne was disputed, and emperors fought like jackals to seize the spoil. And if emperors care little for the graveyards they scatter in their wake, why should their servants care more? As above, so below, say the wise men. And so it was that night. His name was Mattias, and he was 12 years old, and of matters of policy and state he knew nothing at all. His family were Saxon metalsmiths, transplanted by his migrant grandfather to a steep Carpathian valley and a village of no importance except to those who called it home. He slept by the kitchen hearthstone and dreamed of fire and steel. He awoke in the dark before dawn, with his heart a wild bird in his chest. He pulled on boots and a scorch-marked coat, and silently, for 2 sisters and his mother slept next door, he took wood and summoned flames from the pale pink embers in the hearth so that warmth would greet the girls on their rising. Like all firstborn men of his line, Mattias was a blacksmith. His purpose today was to complete the making of a dagger, and this filled him with joy, for what boy would not make real weapons if he could? From the hearth he took a burning brand and stole into the yard, and the sharp air filled his chest, and he stopped. The world about was painted black and silver by the moon. Above the mountain's rim-rock, constellations wheeled in their sphere, and he sought out their shapes and marked them under his breath. Virgo, Bootes, Cassiopeia. Lower down the slopes, headlong streaks of brightness marked the valley's forked stream, and pastures floated misty beneath the woodlands. In the yard his father's forge stood like a temple to some prophet unknown, and the firelight on its pale stone walls promised magic and marvels, and the doing of things that no one had done before. As his father, Christopher, had taught him, Mattias crossed himself on the threshold and whispered a prayer to St. James. Christopher was out on the road, shoeing and sharpening tools for the farms and manors thereabouts. Would he be angry when he returned that Mattias had wasted 3 days forging, when he might have made fish hooks or a wood saw or a scythe, goods that always found a ready buyer? No, not if the blade were true. If the blade were true, his father would be proud. Mattias crossed himself and stepped inside. The forge smelled of ox hooves and sea salt, of clinker, horses and coal. The firepot was readied as he'd left it the evening before, and the kindling caught with a firebrand's first touch. He worked the bellows and fed yesterday's coke to the flames, coaxing the fire, building it until burning charcoal lay 2 inches deep on the tuyere. He lit the lamp, then unearthed his blade from the ashes in which he'd buried it overnight. He'd taken 2 days to straighten and harden the steel, 6 inches in the blade and 4 in the tang. Knives he'd made before, but this was his first dagger, and the requisite skill was multiplied in the weapon's double-edged symmetry and the forging of strength in the spine. He hadn't perfected the symmetry, but the edges didn't roll beneath a file. He blew away the ash and sighted down the bevels and found no warp or screw. With a damp rag he wiped the blade clean and worked its either surface smooth with pumice. Then he polished the blade until it gleamed dark blue, with powder of emeril and butter. Now would his art be tested in the temper. On the charcoal bed he laid a 1/4 inch of ash, and on the ash the...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?